Here we are. This is another episode of Moms of Real Estate. I love the acronym MORE, and I actually think there's so much to the acronym of MORE because these women that I'm interviewing are so incredible, and the conversations we're having, I actually think are really groundbreaking. And I think a lot of other women, especially women in real estate, want to hear. So Amanda, I want you to introduce yourself, and I want you to tell everybody right away where they're going to be able to find you, because if they don't get to the end of this, because everybody's so ADD. So I want you to tell them about yourself, what market you're in, talk about your team or not, whatever you have that you're running, and of course, where they can find you on social media.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm a big fan, and congratulations to all of your success. My name is Amanda Corral. I am the founder of Amada Agency in Houston, Texas. I've been in real estate for 10 years, and I just launched my brokerage in April. So I finally took a leap of faith and, was trying to, like many business women who are mothers, try to find that balance and the perfect timing. But it came about this year. We were ready and we're rocking and rolling. You can find me on Instagram at the Amanda Corral. Facebook is the same thing. So check us out.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm so glad that you're on today. I love the topic that you had picked, talking about teaching our children what it takes to become entrepreneurs. And I actually think this is super, super relevant because our kids and our spouses or the people in our lives have trouble sometimes understanding what it takes to build these businesses and sustain them until the systems are in place for them to be more self-sufficient. And
Absolutely.
You started a brokerage. I'm sure you have even more to say about what it takes.
It's a lot of work. And, like I said, it's all about finding that balance and really having good time management. I live and die by my calendar, as I'm sure you do and everybody else in real estate does. If it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. So there's that fine line between really wanting to push to do the most and still having that healthy downtime to have the family and whatnot. But being goal oriented has always been very much so in my bloodline. I come from a very long line of entrepreneurs, and it kind of was something that I was exposed to very early on. Thankfully, I watched my mom get up every single morning. She had a suit in every color, pumps in every color, and she was literally out the door by 6:30 in the morning, ready to go kill it. And that kind of was ingrained in my mind very early on. So that's really all I know. I never had the inclination to go a different route. So my daughter's seeing that now. And she's actually expressed some interest into getting into real estate. And I'm like, that's great. But be ready for it because it's a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, it is a lot of work. But I do think, I hope I have one of my kids wants to get into real estate. Just one. If I could have one of them do this.
I'm pushing for her to go into like being a lawyer or something, but if it's in her, because like I said, she's 14 now. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I'll be celebrating my 10th year anniversary in the Houston real estate market in November. So this is something that she's watched, and she probably knows more of the verbiage and the legalities of the business than a lot of the agents that I work with sometimes. So she hears it. Yeah. I'll throw that one in there.
I'm sure she does. That's amazing. Well, so tell us what made you decide to start the brokerage. I think that's a first step. I want to hear about that. And then let's talk about, how you're raising your kids while you're also running a brokerage.
Yeah. Well, I'll be very honest with you. I feel like after some time in any profession and any business, you kind of start coasting. It becomes really, really easy. Like, negotiating a deal, marketing, everything kind of becomes very easy for you after you've done it a million times. And so that inspiration wasn't there. That challenge wasn't there anymore. And I was feeling like I was just kind of coasting in my career as an agent. Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of different types of selling, of marketing. I've worked with all kinds of clientele, and I just didn't feel that inspiration, that like excitement in the morning anymore. And I said, well, either I switch businesses because I need something that's going to give me some more pep to my step, or I find a new way to ignite that motivation and that inspiration to get out there and just kill it. Right. So I said, you know what? The only thing that's going to get me up is that challenge of having to start a company, because people here in Houston, they know who I am, but they don't know who my company is. I'm having to restart like a baby again, crawling to promote the name of my company, Amada Agency. And, it's that challenge of also helping other agents, specifically women. I really, really have a passion for working with women, and help guide them to where they can become a top producer. They can make, great income. And just that's what I needed. That's what I needed. So that's why I started my brokerage. And I prayed about it a lot. I talked to my mom, my daughter, and, I thought about it for a long time. It wasn't an easy decision because it's a very big responsibility. I'm like, well, I have another business. I have an exotic car rental company. I have other real estate investments. So I'm, dealing with tenants and whatnot and looking for investments, hoping to get into building. Then I have a 14-year-old. And I'm like, do I really need additional task on my plate?
Additional stress, let's call it.
Yes, exactly. So, but again, God put it in my heart, and I felt like this was for me. So here we are.
Wow, that's amazing. What a story. So exotic car rentals,
Mhm.
property, your
Management.
property, you own properties and you're doing property management.
Right.
Wow. And you have the brokerage.
I do.
That's amazing.
That's
That's
why
amazing.
I literally live on coffee, vodka, and energy drinks.
Sometimes you put them together. No.
Yeah. Hey, why not?
That's amazing. Wow. Well, you're inspiration. So tell me how, when you're this busy, I mean, if she's 14 years old, she probably can help you out with some stuff, actually. Do you have her coming with you and doing things?
My daughter's really independent, and I love that. I've raised her to be very independent. I'm a single mother. I have been for 10 years, although now I do have, a significant other. But for a long time, it was just she and I. And I went through a very nasty split with her father when she was only 3 years old, and I had to restart my life. I come from a background of entertainment. I was in music and publishing for many, many, many years before I was in real estate. And I had absolutely no desire to get into real estate. But when it was all said and done, that relationship was over. Now have a 3-year-old. The demand in the life of an artist or of a musician, being on the road, late nights in the studio, it just did not coincide with me now being a single mother. So I had to make a career change. I shifted into real estate at the advice of my mother, who at one point was in real estate herself. And I really didn't think twice about it. I was like, okay, hey, I'll give it a shot. And it was just a natural fit, because if you're selling music, you're selling real estate, you're selling cars, you just know how to sell,
Yep. Yeah.
and
One step
so
to
she's just
another to the closing, right? You just
exactly.
what is the next step? How do I get them to the next step? What are we doing here?
Exactly. So she's been watching and observing and soaking it up. And so she's very independent, because she's watched me be independent.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Well, I love hearing that, because it is true that I think that the kids see your independence and they see your hard work, and I'd like to think it's inspiring. Sometimes I'm, berate myself for how little I get to be home and how sometimes I'm not present as I'd like to be, just because we're all juggling so much. But there's also a level that, hey, this is how I live my life, and this is how I'm growing my business, and the only way to make it happen is like this.
Absolutely. And a lot of us, we do experience that mom guilt,
Oh yeah.
of not being present enough, of not, being available enough sometimes. But I think our kids, they understand later on. They might not understand at the very moment. But I think we're harder on ourselves than really we should be. But I mean, hey, the life of an entrepreneur is not for everybody, it's just not.
Not, no, exactly. So how long have you had the car rental piece of all of this? And the brokerage, you said, has been since April.
Right. We launched in April, although I still feel like we're barely kind of leaving the train station. But the car rental company, we started that 2 years ago.
That's amazing. Wow. And what made you decide to also do that?
Because I love cars and I
Okay.
wanted to find a good way. No, I love, I'm a car girl. I love fast cars. I love exotic cars. I just think that, we work so hard that we should enjoy it. When you pull up, you want to feel like, hey, I'm a boss. I am the boss mom. Therefore, I need a boss car when I arrive.
Well, also, I mean, it's a big piece of showing property outside of New York City. In New York City, like, you pull up in it, usually you pull up around the corner and anything you can throw yourself in, depending on the
Right,
day of the Uber that you're going to get in and out of. I mean, of course, there are agents that have car service, like that have, drivers and all of that.
hmm,
I don't right now because I don't need one the way that I
right,
business structured. But I'd say that's a big piece of showing property in the rest of the country, right? It's what car
right.
you show up in to show your clients.
Absolutely. And the two things coincide. I really believe that, because if you're, trying to get $1 million listing, or you're meeting with a developer who's about to give you a 16 unit community of new construction, you want to show them that you obviously are not dying for their business. You have to show them obviously that you can play the role, you can represent yourself and them well.
Yeah, you can. Exactly. Exactly. So I know we were going to talk about, I have a couple notes here. We were going to talk about how we are raising our children to show them what it takes to be an entrepreneur, but also talking about how you've raised your children to kind of use the experience that they see that you are having to be more resilient, how they can, learn about sales, kind of goal setting, that kind of a thing. Tell me a little bit more about how you've done that. I'd love to hear it because I could use some advice myself.
Yeah, well, all of us moms, we're all in this together, so I'm sure we can all give each other some good advice. Um, with my daughter, I think, teaching her to be able to communicate is really important. Communicating what you think, communicating what you feel, and always understanding that even if somebody doesn't feel how you feel or like what you like, it's okay. We can agree to disagree. Learning to adapt to different types of personalities is really, really big in sales, in my opinion, and keeping a nice, calm demeanor. So I try to, show her that getting along with people is going to take you a lot further than not getting along with people. And just be kind, be respectful. That goes a very, very long way. Teaching her those manners. Also, teaching her about budgeting is really important, also for me. I got her own debit card, and I give her, her little weekly, I guess, allowance. And whether she wants Starbucks or she wants DoorDash or she wants to go to the mall, that's what you have, kid. Like, work with it, and then we won't re-up until next week. Learn how to prioritize your needs and your wants, right? And really just teaching her to think big. Like, hey, if you can dream it, you can do it. Think big. Don't allow people to get into your head. Just because they can't do it or they think that it's impossible doesn't mean that it's impossible. You can do it. Set your goals. And baby wins every single day. Baby wins every single day. They're like, those what do they call, the like micro wins, every single day. Just move
I know.
forward.
It's such an important focus. I have a really hard time with that. It's because I'm like, can't stop and celebrate. Otherwise I'm gonna get derailed. But you
Yeah.
have to stop and celebrate. It's so important.
Yeah. You have to celebrate yourself. And I think also that time management and learning when to cut it off. Because when I first started in real estate, I was so hungry for the deal, chasing the deals, chasing the jobs. And I would work until, I'd literally drop her off at school, get to work, pick her up from school, hang out with her for a bit, get her settled for dinner, put her down, and then get back to work. And I was really burning myself at both ends. I wasn't resting enough. I wasn't finding that balance to take care of myself. And so I think probably over the last, I'd say maybe 5 years, I've learned to cut it off at a certain time. Like, hey, you know what? Unless we're like at the last day of the option period and there's just something that we are waiting for, everything can wait until tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I
Yeah.
want to have dinner with my family.
And do you have a time? What time do you get up to be able to get it all done in the morning?
5:30 every morning,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
single morning I'm up.
That's good. Hey, I'm the same way. Got to get up, got to get out. It makes a really big difference. Getting whatever you have your morning routine to make sure that you can make it happen. Super important. Are your kids up early too? Or is it you have one or two?
I only have one. I only have one.
That's great.
Yes. She's all I need. She's enough. She's got a big personality. Um, she's up. I wake her up. I'm up at 5:30, sometimes 5 o'clock, depending on if I have a whole lot going on that morning. And I want to spend a little extra time just kind of easing into it. But she's up pretty early because her high school, she just started as a freshman in high school. It starts at literally at 7:15. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is literally
Well,
insane.
hey, got to teach them to get up early sometimes, right? It's part of all of this. So how many agents do you have right now? I want to hear about your goals. While we wrap things up, I want to hear about your goals and your plan for your brokerage and
Okay.
and what that looks like over the next year. I mean, you're going to be what you get to have 3/4 of this year that you will have had the brokerage, right? Because you started in
Right.
April.
Right.
So then it's kind of like probably gearing up for 2023 for you.
Right. Well, there's just four of us at this time. And I have an assistant who keeps my entire life together. So she's part of the team as well. And really, the focus right now is like, again, we launched in April, but I just have been tweaking the systems, tweaking the marketing, and really kind of lasering in on the demographics and the areas that I really want to heavily inundate with my marketing. So ultimately, the big picture here is to be the go-to boutique brokerage in Houston, for all clientele, but really lasering in, like I said, on the bicultural Latinos in Houston.
Love that. I love that. Well, that's also an amazing group of people to help because I'm sure that there's so much different kind of business just within that group of people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Houston is I believe 51% Latino.
Wow.
So there's a huge demographic there. And we're talking about, all kinds that were born here, first generation Americans, as well as people that have immigrated here from Mexico, South America, Cuba, Puerto Rico. And so it's a really, I feel, kind of neglected demographic, I feel. And so I really kind of want to be like the people's champ in that arena.
Hey, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love
And a
that.
lot of a lot of people are bringing their money into Texas too,
Oh
from
yeah.
South America. So we want those investors. We want those investors to come on over here. We want to be the ones to help them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Well, you are incredible. You're an inspiration to all of us. This was so fun to connect. Again, everybody's going to love finding you. You said you told us where you are on Instagram. Any other social platforms you want to make sure that everybody knows where to find
I've not gotten on TikTok yet. I know everybody's doing the TikTok thing. Have you?
I'm on TikTok, but I could be
Okay.
doing more with TikTok.
Yeah, I haven't yet gotten on TikTok. Instagram has been my, I guess, most focused platform for social media. So you can find me again at the Amanda Corral, or you can also follow my brokerage, the Amada Agency. And yeah, that's pretty much where you'll find me.
I love it. Well, you're incredible. Next time I come to Houston, I'm gonna rent an exotic vehicle from you.
Absolutely. On the house for you.
Just today, just for some great Instagram content. I don't know what I'm gonna
Absolutely.
take a look and see what kind of great vehicles you've got because I think
We're,
I'm totally missing out here. Is some of your Instagram? Do you have some of the cars on your Instagram, or I'm assuming you
um,
probably
I I
some.
have the company page too. It's called Fastlane Exotic. So I'll shoot you a DM and you can check it out. But we have your Lambos, we have the Mercedes, and all the things that people love to drive. We're right there, ready to serve.
Amazing. You are such an incredible businesswoman and mother. This was incredible. Awesome, awesome to meet you and hear what you're doing. You're so inspiring. I know that people are going to watch this and moms are going to watch this and be like, wow, I want to DM her and hear that she's doing it all.
I don't sleep.
I love it. I love it. All right.
Well, it's been a very, very big pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much. I am a big fan of yours. You're incredible. Just keep crushing it over there. If I get to New York City, I definitely will let you know so we can link up. But thanks for having me on your show. Finally, we made it
you
happen.
made it happen. I love it. All right. Thanks, Amanda. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.